right, guys, I'm here. I am Doug Bruner, and I am on the toast today. I am lucky enough to be here with, of course, Penny Newman and AquaShield. Yield. Take that back. I know them for one thing, and one thing that's very important. Their proprietary product, which we're going to talk about.
Nano Shield.
Nano Shield.
AquaYield Nano Shield.
AquaYield Nano Shield.
Say that 10 times fast.
Come on, man. So I am here with a good friend of mine, Matt Nicoletti. Matt, I want you to, number one, introduce the two gentlemen here that you've been doing business with and why you are excited about I'm excited about what they're doing because I love the presentation about how to get cows to pasture a faster way.
Yeah,
okay, you either put them in a trailer, slam them all together, and they go there quicker, or you walk them with a horse, and it takes a long time.
Takes forever.
And that's what we're going to be talking about.
And you might lose a few along the
You
way.
might lose a few, yep.
How to get your fertilizer to become more available to the plant and be more effective, make more money. That's what we're doing as farmers, right? Unfortunately, we haven't figured that out yet. These guys got something that could be revolutionary. Probably is revolutionary.
It is.
But have we used it yet? Have farmers seen it yet? Do they know about it? That's what we're going to educate today. I'm lucky enough, got to see a presentation on, got to use the product, excited to do more tests with it and use it mainstream this year on about 7,000 acres because I'm hoping to cut. One of my biggest costs is fertilizer.
Absolutely.
Which is not only a cost, but sometimes are prohibited in my ground by building up salts, chlorides, causing more problems. It's like, I guess, taking a medicine when you kind of got a real problem that you need to address a holistic way. So, Matt, introduce your buddies and also business partners here that you're working with. Introduce them. Let's talk about this.
Right on. Well said, Doug. So I guess a good place to start maybe would be how I first heard about these guys. And like everything within this division, you've heard me say it a million times, comes by way of the brain of Mr. Dennis Butcher. And he kept telling me.
How do you get a name Butcher?
I know, right?
I said, your family must be tough.
Sounds like a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
That does.
He's been walking around with two blown knees for 25 years, so he is tough.
He is tough.
Just cut him off.
Yeah. No. So he was, as you know, the background. It really started with his flagship product, Full Spectrum, and then he kept introducing us to new, cool, innovative stuff to really build a fertility program that is all about soil health and efficiency. Really, can be summed up what our motives are with our fertility program. And when he started telling me about this nano, it was this nano-sized UAN 32, and I was like, well, what exactly is that? It sounds like, is it run through a machine that they take UAN and
Tiny UAN.
do they make it small and so I didn't know what it was when he first started talking about it, but he talked about this trial he did at one of our dairy customers on their corn silage.
Yep.
And he used 10% of the competing control plot, got the exact same yield, saved $300 per acre in the fertility program, and like I said, exact same yield, but had a 30% increase in starch. And it was all he did was use the Nano 32 at a massively reduced rate. And we are recommending reduced rates. 90% reduction is probably a little bit
aggressive. That's
a
what
little
that
aggressive.
Was, yeah.
But and it was supplemented with our Full Spectrum product. But even still, that caught our attention, right? And I kept asking Dennis, hey, what's going on with this Nano thing? It sounds really exciting. And he goes, well, here's the company. And, I was recommended from a friend of mine who used to work at Nature's, another company we're big fans of. And here's the guy you need to call. And that was Mark.
Yeah.
And I picked up the phone and I just called Mark one day and I gave him the same story. I'm like, we're fans of your stuff. And had limited experience with it and we want to do more. So
Dennis was a fan.
Dennis was, and that's all it takes. For me.
So you're a fan. You're following Dennis. I got it.
It's a pretty easy vetting experience. Yeah. So
got it.
I called Mark up, and Mark was awesome. Like Mark, he immediately came out to meet the team.
What area code is Mark in?
Right now,
I
I live in Clovis, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm in the other Clovis, but
Yeah.
in New Mexico.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. So, but you were in Salt Lake City at the time.
At the time, I was living in Salt Lake,
which is where they're headquartered, and came out, met the team. We introduced him to the program. We got him out with a couple meetings with some of our growers, and we got the ball rolling, starting small, of course. And we were still really building our team. I'm not even sure if Finn had been with us for very long at that point in time, and we really have been refining our process.
Dr. Finn?
Dr. Tellis. There's a number of Dr. Tellises in this valley. But yeah, so that's where it all started. And it started with, okay, so then we figured out what it actually was. It wasn't nano-sized UAN32. It was this nanoparticle product that you blend with absolutely anything. So the more I learned about it, the more excited I got about it, because the application is ubiquitous. You can use their products with anything. And that's the coolest part about it, right? Because we're not asking you to completely overhaul what you're doing. Use this bug in a jug microbial product instead of your standard NPK product. We're not telling you to completely eliminate your ag chem, but we're telling you we have something that can improve the efficiency of what it is that you're doing already. And all you're doing is you're just adding a little bit of this stuff to the tune of 4 ounces to the acre, which is per application, which is a very, very reasonable cost to absorb, particularly when you start reducing what you're applying of that primary product to where you make some room in the budget for this and then some. So you got to, what we're getting experimental with and scientific with is where's that happy medium to where you cut back and apply to units, but still improve your productivity, right? To where you're spending less and producing more. That obviously has me thrilled, but you also made a reference to the environmental stewardship standpoint, applying fewer units, compromise, having a less of a compromise on the soil biology.
Yeah, let's not lie. I mean, that's coming. We are going to be forced into that, whether we like it or not.
You are. Exactly.
We're going to have to use less water. We're going to have to use less fertilizer. We're going to have to take away all the fun things in life, right?
Absolutely.
And, but however, we're going to have to adjust to that, and it's great that people are looking at different forms. I mean, people are getting aggressive. Technology's better. So, Mark, real quick, where did this get established? That's one thing I don't know. What was the genesis of this? What type of crop did you begin this on? And where did you start seeing these type of improvements? Because crops are biology, right? I mean, that's the way it's a living, breathing cell.
That's right.
Just like a human body, everything. I mean, I took biology in college. I don't know why I majored in that. It really makes no sense. But in essence, everything is the same. I was a dairyman before. Now I'm an almond farmer, tomato farmer. I'm really horrible at growing corn, but that's because my farm manager is a Portuguese, but Portuguese corn goes like that. But anyways, Josh, I love you. But however, the thing is that everything coincides, biology, growth, and everything like that. So if it works on one plant, it's going to work on another plant.
If it grows, we can help it.
So where did it experiment? How did it come to tuition? Tell me that. That's one thing I do not know about.
Right. So Clark and Warren Bell, the founders of the company, they own a sod farm in Salt Lake City, Utah, about 600 acres.
Yep.
Outside of Salt Lake City. And Clark was introduced to this nanoparticle through a friend of his, and he talked his dad into trying this on the sod farm. And what they found was that they were able to reduce the amount of phosphorus and the amount of 1034O and these chemicals that they were using. They were able to reduce those by anywhere from 50 to 60%.
Still seeing the same yields?
Still seeing the same
if
yields.
not higher.
And in some cases, even on a sod farm, which is unheard of, getting an extra cutting a year. Mm-hmm. So it all started on a sod farm. And when I first came on with the company 4 years ago, they really hadn't advanced into row crops.
Or industrial
right.
ag.
They had tree crops. They were on a lot of citrus down in Florida.
Okay.
Which we are now on 300,000 acres of citrus in Florida. We're on almost
all. Aren't the citrus dying there?
It is. It's
Yeah,
slowly
that's a
dying
good.
back. It's
That'll
So
be a
you
good
better
side
find a
note.
new avenue.
right.
Well, they're going to save it, aren't you guys?
We are.
We
Them-
have.
them
we
and
literally
process.
have.
Them and Corfall.
We
Good.
That's
we
the
really
secret.
have.
That's the cure right there.
So we started playing around with it and noticed that we were helping with citrus greening. And then when I came on, I'm a row crop guy. We started introducing it into corn.
Sorry,
into
you don't
cotton.
make no money like me.
All right. So we started introducing it into corn and cotton and soybeans
Got
in
it.
the upper Midwest, and we started seeing that we were having tremendous success there. And so we've just kind of branched out little by little over the last 4 or 5 years into just about every crop. We're just now getting out here into California, getting onto the almonds, getting onto the pistachios, grapes, the crops that you guys are growing out here. But it's
Doug's tomatoes.
I dropped everything I was doing. I worked for
Is it organic certified?
It will be
Working on
Okay.
it.
very
We're
soon.
working on one.
Very soon. We're just waiting for them to stamp it.
Okay.
So
Good luck.
I know, right? Yeah, we've been waiting for almost a year for
year?
them to stamp it.
They just sent me a plaque yesterday. I'm certified CCOF organic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Done.
Yep.
Nice.
So yeah, we've I think we've done a really good job in the last 4 or 5 years. We've hired some really key people here within the last few months. I came from traditional fertilizer, wholesale fertilizer natures, and my answer to crop problems was always just throw more NPK at it. We can fix it that way. When I first heard about aqua yield, I was skeptic. I was like, what is this stuff? I went to Utah, interviewed with them, and within the first 30 minutes, I dropped everything I was doing and said, I have to come work for this company. It's a beautiful company, the structure, the products, and the thing that I like the most about it is we are truly in it to help the grower on all fronts, whether it's cost inputs or yield or any kind of insecticide problems or herbicide problems, weed problems. We're in it to help the grower. And
So you're seeing it enhance also for herbicides and
oh,
things like-
definitely,
Okay.
definitely, definitely.
They're reducing the applicate, or you're just seeing.
So when it comes to herbicides, we would never recommend that anybody go off label. But you have a high rate use and a low rate use, and you can definitely get by with using that low rate use. And we're even seeing a tremendous kill in Roundup resistant weeds, like out in my area, pigweed, mare's tail, water hemp, things like that have become resistant to
Glyphosate?
to glyphosate, right?
Yeah.
So what we think is happening there, the plant has just kind of built up this resistance to it. It's just not letting it in. But once you load a nanoparticle with that glyphosate, the plant does not recognize the nanoparticle, brings the nanoparticle in, then releases the glyphosate, and we're seeing a kill rate on some of these Roundup resistant weeds.
Yeah. I'm seeing that Roundup is. Plants are tough, man.
Yeah,
tough with
yeah,
this.
they are, and they're very resilient. So
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, with fertility, it's amazing. And I want to reiterate something that he said. We're not here to change your program. We're not here to make you buy a different fertilizer. We're not here to make you buy a different chemical. If you've got a great relationship with your Helena rep, that's awesome. We're just here to make what you're using work better. So I'm not here to pull you away from what you're doing. If what you're doing on your farm is currently working and you love the products that you're buying from wherever you're getting them from, we're just here to help you make those work better.
I like that. Better deliverable.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But I think, in essence, something I know Matt is super passionate about, and so am I personally, is more the regenerative side, where creating more value, not only to the grower, but in essence as a, just give me those 3 letters. What
ESG.
ESG.
Environmental social governance.
Yeah, whatever that means.
Yeah.
But anyways, means doing right, because we are going to be governed by that eventually. It's coming. That's why companies like yourself
Right.
are really going to start
Florida
coming,
and Michigan are already there.
Oh yeah.
They're
And-
already
and they're
regulating.
regulating the
Yes.
nitrogen and
Yes.
everything like that.
Phosphorus,
Okay.
Yeah,
everything.
as we are here.
Yeah.
Those laws have been passed. They just haven't been fully.
They haven't been
enacted yet.
implemented.
Yeah, right.
So, becoming a steward of the land and starting to learn how to get the most out of it. Healthy soils,
Yeah, and the key, the way that people have looked at environmental stewardship in agriculture, you know, I think at least from the consumer's perspective is organic, right? You know, and okay, in order for me to farm organically, that means I've got to go through this 3-year transition where my yields are going to plummet,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And my cost of production is going to increase by
Skyrocket.
4x,
Yep.
right? And what am I really accomplishing at the end of the day? Am I really pointing to results that can tell a story with respect to environmental stewardship? Big question mark there. And I
Creating
think-
lower yields, less nutrient dense food, and costing yourself a lot more money with hopefully
getting paid a premium for it.
getting paid
Right,
a premium
and we tip our hats to
and
the
making
organic.
5% of the world happy.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, not even. Let's.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't feed the world that way.
I used to get really defensive when you would get these critiques from the coastal elite type folks about how we need to start producing our food organically and better environmental stewardship on farm. It's like these people don't appreciate how hard it is, the risks, the difficulties in dealing with weeds and pests and those sorts of things. And honestly, I got to go back to Mr. Butcher in terms of opening my eyes to the fact that, holy shit, we actually can farm more economically and improve our environmental footprint at the exact same time. You know, so reduce your cost, improve your productivity and quality, and then, you know, Doug, something we're working on the sidelines is trying to figure out how to get growers a premium for hitting those new markets, right? Creating a new category of premium food products.
Yeah, if you're going to, you know, tax us or take us away from things like using less water or, you know, using less fertilizer and, you know, stuff we're acclaimed to, you know, there's got to be some type of premium to that. And we're hoping not to see any drop off. Actually, we won't see a drop off because we need to get more educated with our soils and
Yes.
things like that, right? I mean, we're just putting toxic shit onto them all day long.
All day.
Every
you know?
year. Yep.
And we've been doing it for generations.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So it's exciting to see things like this. And I know Matt is a very, you know, studies things along with Dennis and their company. So they are Penny Newman is the type of company that's looking to create the relationships and bonds with type of companies that are looking a little more outside the box of just, okay, you know, what the UC studies say. Okay, X amount of nitrogen, X amount of phosphorus, X amount of potash equals 2,500 pounds or 3,000 pounds. You need this. Well, if things aren't right in the soil, it's going to be tied up.
That's right.
Or not released. Or I'm no scientist, but biology's biology, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And it all comes back to the living cells and, you know, the health of the cells and the way it moves in between amino
Sure. Right.
acids,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Proteins and
Complex
stuff.
peptides.
system for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I listen. Just not that good.
And the early framework was that environmental stewardship was sort of mutually exclusive from high efficiency agricultural production.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, we're enjoying a sort of, you know, new wave of understanding that maybe these things aren't mutually exclusive and we can find ways to accomplish both goals at the same time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well said.
Yep.
And you'd mentioned Penny Newman like to think outside of the box, which, you know, I agree. We're doing that. We're taking pride in doing that. But at the same time, what I like about what these guys are doing is it's not that far outside of the box, right? We're supplementing what's inside the box to facilitate the out of the box transition.
Well said.
Yeah.
You know, that's again just the ubiquitousness of how their products could be used. The fact that it works like very, very similar nanoparticles work with both crop protection and fertility products is so cool to me because you know what I mean. It makes my job as somebody who's mixing and blending products so much easier. You know, to just have something that doesn't have all these crazy technical, if you mix this with this, it's going to fall out of solution and blah, blah, blah. And granted, yeah, there's a limit to how much we want to apply per acre. And, you know, there are, you know, guidelines we have to follow, but just the fact that I can use it with everything we're doing and make it better. That's why, you know, I wanted you guys to come in and we had a really great meeting with a group of PCAs today. Chris Morner was there and
Cool.
And I was like, hey, I want you to beat these guys up. I want you to, you know, ask the tough questions.
That was good.
And I think that whole group there left
Morner.
very, very, very compelled. They found the conversation with these guys really compelling. So we're really, really excited for this upcoming
And real
year.
quick, I mean, I'm going to let Chris kind of explain exactly what nano is.
Got it.
Sure.
Just real quick.
Okay, so nanoparticle technology is something that's been sort of a hot issue in technology development for the last few years. We're taking something that nature's already leveraged. Nanoparticles are just tiny, really tiny particles, right? But when you take things down to that scale, chemistry behaves a little bit differently. And we leverage that. So we're leveraging an existing technology that nature's produced for millennia and just applying it into the agricultural space. Our nanoparticles are able to interact with fertilizer molecules, other agrochemicals, and basically provide a sort of vehicle or shuttle, if you will, into the plant cell and carry a lot more of that chemistry with it along the way. So we've seen some incredible efficiency gains through that process. Just a very simple phenomenon that exists in nature, and we're just leveraging it. That's
Right.
it.
Yeah, and it's a little counterintuitive. It's something I realized after after a handful of conversations with Mark and team. Nano, it's small, right? That's obviously what's implied, but a nanoparticle is 1,000 times larger than a fertilizer, like a nutrient
phosphorus
ion
molecule.
or molecule,
Yeah.
right? And what you're actually doing is you're trying to create mass in a way that prevents leaching and that sort of thing. But when you add thousands and thousands of ions onto a nanoparticle, you're creating that mass to prevent leaching and runoff. But then the technology, what's unique about it is also prevents tie-up.
Right.
So
Yep.
you're,
Very
you're
important
reducing
point.
all that loss.
Yeah.
Right.
Got
So it took me a conversation or two to figure that out.
So
Yeah,
that
the whole-
go ahead. The nanoparticle itself is actually surrounded by not only the water that you're using to deliver your chemistries, but the active molecules themselves. So you're basically getting I think the example that I've used in a couple different presentations is like a cattle delivery truck, and all of those nutrients are the cattle packed into that truck, and in one fell swoop it gets inside the tissue all at once. So yeah,
And
going
it's
from
protected, so it will not tie up. A phosphorus won't tie up with calcium.
right.
It's a protected molecule that keeps it from tying up
Got
with
it.
other things.
Got it.
Gets inside the cell, releases that payload, and we're just seeing better results as
Absolutely.
a consequence.
Well, Matt, how do they get a hold of you guys, or is that through Penny Newman? Through Penny Newman? I mean,
Yep. Yeah, we're a dealer for them out here.
Okay.
We use them in a lot of our products, and this year we're really going to ramp that up. We've got
Okay.
a lot of new blends coming out this spring that we're really excited to bring to market. And by the way, like I said, these guys work with anything and everything, so keep that in mind. But if you guys are interested in learning more about Aqua Yield, you can feel free to contact Penny Newman salesman through the Ag Center.
Yep.
And we'll get you set up. We'll get the conversation started.
awesome. Well, thank you guys. I know you guys are heading to dinner, but I want to give a toast to you guys.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
Best of luck in everything you guys
Thank
do.
you for having us.
Hope we all have some
Thank you.
success and
Good to be
make
with
some
you,
more money.
fellas.
Hey, cheers, guys.
Thanks, Doug.
Appreciate you.